up, homegrown filmmakers? Today we're talking about how to format a script. So a couple weeks ago I did an episode about how to write a script. I was really focusing on the story side of things, you know, how to go from idea to a finished script, developing a story. If you are interested in checking that out, you can click there. Today I thought it would be a good idea to go through just like the basics of script formatting, and it's just all of the technicalities that you need to get started with the actual writing of a script. So there are 5 basic formatting elements, and I'm going to be going through each one of them. So the first formatting element is the scene heading, which is also called the slug line. That is this guy right here. The scene heading is always in all caps. You'll have a scene heading at the top of every single scene, and it's there to just set the scene, tell us where it's taking place, when it's taking place. So there's 3 parts to the slug line. The first is really simple. It's just telling us whether it's inside or outside. And so there's interior and exterior. Exterior, as you can see, is EXT, and interior is abbreviated as INT. The second part is just telling us where the scene is taking place. If it were an interior scene, you could write something like Abby's room or Nathan's car, or sometimes they're really generic, just like the forest or a classroom or something like that. Deciding what you're going to call each location in the script is completely up to you, and it's just whatever makes the most sense to you and whatever you think would be the most clear to someone reading the script. So the third element is really just there to tell us what time of day something is taking place. Mostly that's just day or night. You can get more specific, like afternoon, morning, sunset, dawn, something like that. But you should really only get that specific if it's important to the story to know what time of day the scene is taking place. Slug lines are very simple. You really don't need to overcomplicate them. It's not the place to give detailed descriptions of what the scene looks like. If you make your slug line too long and too detailed, it interrupts the story, which kind of defeats the purpose of your script. Your slug line is a tool to communicate information quickly, and it's there to serve the story in the script. The second element of formatting is called action. Action is really simple. It's everything that happens in your film except the dialogue. Writing action is as easy as, you know, normal writing. You use proper grammar, use sentences, use paragraphs, that sort of thing. Now, writing action in the script is different than if you were writing a novel. First of all, scripts are always written in present tense, not past tense. They're written that way because to an audience member, watching a film is something that's happening. It's not something that has happened. And so writing in present tense keeps that same tone, and it translates much better to actually shooting your film. Another way that writing a script is different than writing something like a novel is that it's visual, and so you can't write anything in the script that you can't see, i.e. thoughts and feelings. You can't have a sentence like, Jason thinks about 2 years ago when he was playing baseball with his dad. There's no visual there. You can't show that on screen. If you can think of a way to show that on screen, you need to be writing what's being shown on screen, not just that he thinks. For the people who will be reading your script, action works better when the text is broken up into smaller paragraphs. You want your script to be easy to read and flow like the film is going to flow. Huge, large chunks of words are really hard to read, and they slow down the pace for the reader. While you're writing action, you really need to be thinking visually and describing images. That's what you want to be doing. Keep it fast, keep it punchy, and it'll be really easy to read. So the next 2 elements of formatting kind of go together, and they have to do with dialogue. The first element is called character, and that's just where you write the character's name. The character formatting is always in all caps, and it's always centered in the middle of your document. The next element is the dialogue. So you have the character who is saying the dialogue, and then you have what they're saying. Character is really straightforward. It's just the character who's talking. If you have a character who doesn't have a name, like the jogger in the background or the mailman, then you don't have to give them a name. You can just call them the mailman, the jogger, the grocer, especially if they're not really going to be in the script very much. They're just in that one scene. And the dialogue is also pretty straightforward. It's what you want the characters to say. Because you're writing people's speech, it does not have to be grammatically correct because, as we all know, we don't speak grammatically correctly most of the time. You should write it exactly how you want characters to say it. As you're writing your script, you intermingle action and dialogue as your scenes require. So the fifth basic element of formatting is parentheticals, which is a set of parentheses that kind of is attached to a dialogue. So in formatting, parentheticals go under the character but above the dialogue. Parentheticals are used for two reasons. The first is to describe actions that the characters are doing while they're speaking, like in this example. The second is to give some direction as to how the line should be delivered, like in this example. Now, parentheticals can be majorly overused. You do not want to be using them for every single piece of dialogue. Like the scene headings, they are a tool to make things more clear, and so you only want to use them when it might be confusing. This is especially true when you're using a parenthetical to give direction. You don't want to give too much direction as a screenwriter. It's the director who gives direction, it's the actors who decide how they're going to perform their lines. And so you only want to give that direction if the story would be confusing without it. For instance, if you have a line of dialogue where the character is angry, it should be pretty clear that they're angry from the action and from the words that they're saying. They're stomping through the scene and they're shaking their fist and they're using exclamation points and angry words. You don't have to use a parenthetical to tell us that they're angry, it's obvious. That is what you want to be doing more often than not, using the action, using the dialogue to tell us the emotions of the characters, not the parentheticals. So that is a whole scene laid out on paper. Hopefully that will help you see how all the formatting elements are supposed to work together. If this was an end of the scene, you would start a new scene heading here, and you would put interior cabin day, and you would start the next scene. So those are the 5 basic formatting elements: scene headings, action, character, dialogue, and parentheticals. With those, you should be ready to start writing your script. Hey there, homegrown filmmakers. I am so happy to see you here on my new channel. I hope this episode was helpful to you and that you learned something new and that you're ready to go out and start writing your scripts. As always, if you have any questions about filmmaking, please leave a comment below. I'm always looking for new ideas for more episodes, and I really want to help you guys where you need help. I'm Annie Pulling Sweat, and I'm a homegrown filmmaker. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.